let us remember we are in the holy presence of God. When Jesus was in a boat, there arose on the sea so great a storm that the vessel was covered with waves. His disciples having appealed to him, he got up and commanded the wind and the seas to be quiet. And there ensued a deep calm. To live in a community that is faithful to the rule is to live on that boat with Jesus and his disciples, because there they have left the world to follow him. There they are protected from the waves of the stormy seas of the world. Still, they are not entirely safe from all difficulties and temptations. Of these, the most hurtful and dangerous are those that cause us to fail in obedience. Do you believe perhaps that you are responsible for your students only during the time of school? That your vigilance is not required to their behavior outside of school? You are real angels, sent by God to prepare a path for him, so that he may enter your hearts and those of your students, your disciples. God in his mercy has given you such a ministry. Do not falsify his word. Resemble the angels by your interior and exterior purity. As the angel said to the prophet Daniel, those who instruct many will shine like stars throughout all eternity. Despite everything, they did not listen. I decided my presence was the source of all this opposition. I decided to go to Rome. I hoped my absence would mollify those who were irritated against me. But even then, I was thwarted with circumstances. A promised new school kept me in Marseille, only to be reneged upon due to the power of my enemies. Only in Grenoble was I truly welcomed. But there, in the warmth of their reception, I began to ail. Considering I had never listened to any aches and pains before, the brothers knew it was serious. I had to be put to bed. I was cured once before from the same illness in Paris. It was brought on by a bout of rheumatism coupled with water retention. It brought me to death's door. Against my brother's wishes, I now called for a repeat of that procedure. A pit was made and a fire set until only a blanket of white hot coals remained burning. A metal grate was placed over this bed of torture, and I was put on top of the grate. I became so hot, no one could touch me. I laid there for over 24 hours until the sickness was baked out of me. I was cured again. Let his holy name be blessed eternally. When I was well enough, I let it be known that I wished for a spiritual retreat. It was suggested I go to Parmeny, to the country church, resurrected by the much respected Sister Louise.
I find it surprising you encountered opposition trying to establish Christian schools. How can such a worthy enterprise, so useful and so necessary, have met with such opposition in the midst of a Christian country?
I long to spend the rest of my days in solitude. I want to think of nothing but of God.
Such is not God's will. You must not abandon your family. Labor is as important as prayer. You must combine the life of Martha with that of Mary and persevere in this to the end of your days. Here, this letter from Paris has arrived for you.
Monsieur, our very dear father,
we, the principal brothers of the Christian schools, having in view the greater glory of God,
the greater good of the Church and of our society,
recognize that it is of the utmost importance that you should again take up the care and general government of the holy work of God.
This is why, Monsieur, we very humbly beseech you and command you in the name and on the behalf of the body of this society to which you have promised obedience,
to take up permanently the responsibility for the government of our society,
in testimony on which we have signed, done at Paris this first day of April 1714. We are, with most profound respect, Monsieur, our dear Father, your humble and obedient inferiors.
The work has been preserved in my absence by the Almighty Hand who began it. My help is not needed. It is time to elect a superior general who, by ruling wisely, can repair the harm I have done. I feel death coming. It is time for the Institute to assume the shape it must maintain when I am gone. And it is important you do so while I'm still alive. There are men who are only waiting for my death to usurp power over it, and none of them are qualified to run this establishment. Call an assembly of all brother directors. Choose within your ranks the superior. Consider Brother Barthélemy. He has already assumed most of the administrative detail. Welcome. The holiness of our institute depends on the fervor of you, our new novices. We will inspire you in all things with the spirit and maxims of Jesus Christ. We will teach you the value of virtue and the virtue of a successful relationship between teacher and student. On entering, you must learn to forget the world. Adore in all things the guidance of God in your regard. Your reward will be in heaven.